Hey, what's up? So today I'm gonna be doing some commentary on this dude, Professor Jang, and he's talking about how school brainwashes you. Let's begin.
Okay, let me ask you this question. Let's just say you're a mother or father. And you have a child, right? What's the worst thing that could happen in your life? Your child is taken away from you, right? What does school do? School is designed to take your child away from you. Okay, it's about brainwashing, right? Because how do you brainwash someone? If you're with your parent, are you going to be brainwashed? No. Because
Hold your horses there, Bucko. I'm not really so sure about that. Okay, who is committing the majority of child abuse here? Currently, it is all right. Okay, if you don't know, sir, all right, Professor Jang, you're a professor, maybe you should know this. All right, okay, 80 to 90, yes, 80 to 90% of all child abuse and child murders are done by who? The parents of the victim. Now, look, school is bad, okay? Look, there's obviously lots of fucked up things going on in school, especially these Christian private schools. Thanks, Obama. Yeah, in my opinion, this is not just my opinion, by the way. This is the opinion of other people who have gone to Christian private schools as well. Um, your average, okay, your average. I'm talking about your average. Your average public school in the suburbs, probably even in rural communities too, is on average better than Christian private schools. Like a Christian private school is only going to be better than like a very dangerous inner city ghetto school. You know what I mean? But otherwise, like your average public school in the suburbs and maybe in rural communities are probably going to be better and less shitty than your average Christian private school. You know what I'm saying? That's just the way it is, statistically speaking. Yeah, when school is just unpaid useless bullshit, it's 50 hours a week of unpaid useless bullshit. That's maleducation. I mean, of course. I mean, come on. This goes on and on as to why school's bad. So I'm not disagreeing with him on the general point that school's bad, right? He's saying that school's bad. I agree. It's bad, okay. But here's the thing. He's saying no. Let's replay it. If I remember correctly, he's saying or implying that you are not brainwashed when you're at home with your parents. Is that not what he said? Let's watch.
out away from you. Okay, it's about brainwashing, right? Because how do you brainwash someone? If you're with your parent, are you going to be brainwashed? No. Because you
No, you're not going to be brainwashed. Even when these people commit the majority of child abuse? Yeah. Okay, no. Your average child is constantly being brainwashed by their breeder, asshole, hypocrite, douche parent, all right? Most parents are a bunch of hypocritical assholes. I mean, they're just such unfair hypocrites, you know? I mean, and how loved do you feel when, you're getting abused and or murdered by this hypocritical asshole? Yeah, these assholes typically feel entitled. They seriously act like because they fucked and produced you as a byproduct, that must mean that they're now it's okay for them to treat you horribly, and you're supposed to just assume that they love you because they fucked. Thanks, Obama. Look, that's kind of dumb. Yeah, breeders constantly brainwash their kids to have Stockholm syndrome. Yeah, in every other situation outside the family, if someone claims to love you, they gotta do what? Prove it with their actions, right? But for some fucked up reason, if it's your parents, if it's your family, it's like reverse. Now all of a sudden, when they do bad shit, that would make any reasonable person question whether or not someone loves them. All right. Now when, like, how should I phrase it? Like if a breeder and or someone else in the privileged gene entitlement family circle, if they do something that is so bad that if anyone else were to do it, people would generally say, "Oh, that's fucked up. They don't love you. You should stop hanging around them." All right. But if your family does it, if your parents do it, oh well, they love you, and therefore, because we have this love assumption about their genes, we gotta just let them do. It's okay for them to treat you worse than before. Yeah, that's stupid. Like and this is very, 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 very typical. Okay, your typical child gets brainwashed with that bullshit. Okay, they get brainwashed with this disgusting idea that just because someone fucked and produced you as a byproduct, that must give them all these extra privileges that they don't deserve, and we must assume that they love us all because they fucked, even when they treat us worse than everyone else. Okay, that is stupid. That is brainwashing. Okay, What the fuck is going to brainwash people for tyranny more than parenthood? Your typical parent, all right? No, Professor Jang, you're just wrong here, all right? You're just wrong, clearly, all right? I mean, in my opinion, most of the brainwashing and harm and just damage done on society is done by the parents of children, all right? Yes. And I'm not saying that school is good, school's fucked up, is wrong. I'm not saying the government's good. Okay, the government is just this hypocritical terrorist organization which breaks their own laws constantly. Look it up, right? Look up, for example, Gina Haspel, Judge Boyd, etc. You know, I mean, there's just a couple examples. You can find more examples, all right? List goes on and on. Bottom line is, I mean, government and the schools, obviously pretty fucked up, wrong, terrorist organizations. I agree with that point, sure. But what about parents? They're actually worse, in my opinion. All right. And think about it. Who's committing most of the child abuse and murders? It's parents. Yeah. Okay. Kids spend a shit ton of time at school, a shit ton of time at home. All right. So clearly, so why aren't these bad teachers abusing and killing kids even half as much as parents are? Okay. So no. If anything, your typical parent makes kids more vulnerable to getting groomed by disgusting predator hypocrites like governments, like schools, like just random assholes in general. You know, you know what I'm saying? Let's continue.
You feel love. You feel secure. Your parents are going to protect
You feel love, you feel secure, your parents will protect you. Oh yes, the people. Oh yes, let's just assume that the group of people who commit the most child abuse and killings are going to love and protect their offspring. Yeah, that makes a lot of fucking sense. No, it doesn't. All right, this is just a bunch of breeder simping, just bullshit. All right. I mean, again, this guy. I mean, he I don't give the impression. Okay, I do not want to give the impression that he's just a total idiot. He's not a total idiot across the board. He does make some good points in a lot of his videos in general, including if you watch this full lecture. Yeah, this is part of like a full hour-long lecture or so. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I watched at least a good proportion of it. He does make some pretty good points otherwise, but this point here is just, I mean, no offense, but it's just not a good point. I mean, it's just not true. I mean, it's just not based in reality. Okay, your parents will protect you. Oh yes, when 80 to 90% of child abuse and killings are done by the parents of the victim, you really want to make that kind of general statement? Your parents will protect you. Okay, when most child abuse is done by the parents and not the schools, you know, come on. Come on, no. And by the way, most parents love torturing their kids, and that's why the school system is so fucked up. Because think about it: if parents really want to protect their kids so much, they'd be up in arms about their kids being forcefully maleducated, right? They'd be harassing the school boards all day, every day, constantly, nonstop. You know, they'd be bitching about online. You know, way more than me, right? Because yeah, I'm just some selfish, child-free anti-natalist. You know, I'm just such a selfish bad person with no empathy because I don't have children. All right, you claim to be such a parental empath. How about you have empathy for your kids? All right, how about you bitch at the school boards or at least make some radio talk show bids or something like that? Spread the message, spread the word. I mean, you guys do something. I mean, you got to do more, just as much, if not more, than what I'm doing. Which is, and all I'm doing is making some fucking radio talk show episodes, just spreading the word. That's all I'm doing, is what it is. But I mean, look, you guys claim to be these amazing protectors. You claim to love your kids more than anyone. All right, how about you do more than me to protect them from this bullshit in school? Because clearly, me as a child-free anti-natalist, I'm expressing way more concern for the well-being of these poor kids getting tortured in school than most of you fucking parents out there. Yeah, most parents, you love torturing your kids. All right, when you see them complain about how they gotta waste the majority of their childhood in their formative brain development years getting maleducated with unpaid useless bullshit for 50 hours a week, and they have little to no time or energy left over to learn anything actually productive and actually useful. Okay, most parents, when they hear kids complain about that, they laugh and say, "Shut up, get over it. It's fine, no big deal." All right. So Doctor Professor Jang, I don't know if you're a doctor, whatever. I'll just call you doctor because I'm just feeling like being extra polite here. Okay, Dr. Jang, even though you may or may not be a real doctor. Look, sir, you're wrong. All right. I mean, you're wrong. Okay, you're wrong.
Thank you. You can ask your parent, hey, is this teacher, is he or she lying to me? And the parent's like, yeah, he's lying to you, okay? What happened?
Okay, no. Parents typically support you know, all this bullshit kids have to deal with in school, all right? Do they not? Well, let me tell you that. It's kind of hit and miss, right? Yeah, some of these breeders may bitch about LGBT acceptance. They may lie and say, "Oh, we care about the kids because we want to protect them from queers," and then the pedo mafia. Okay, but yet those same exact parents will act like it's no big deal for parents to be legally allowed to kiss and spank non-consenting children. Okay, are teachers at school legally allowed to kiss and spank non-consenting elementary school children? Not that I'm aware of in your typical first world industrialized Western nation, at least. Yeah, I'm pretty sure your teachers are generally not legally allowed to do that to kids. But who is? The parents. Okay, and who supports these laws? Parents, typically. Most parents support these laws. Okay, so clearly, parents are currently legally allowed to abuse their kids worse than schools are, right? And Matt, most parents support these laws. Most parents act like it's great, no big deal. All right. What about the conditions of foster care, huh? What are parents doing about that? Or I mean, yeah, so many parents actually love the fact that there's foster care with shitty conditions because they get to now illegally abuse their kids and say what to their illegally abused child. Well, if you support me, you'll go to foster care, and foster care is worse than me, so just deal with me, asshole, faggot cunt. Yeah, even though the parents themselves are the asshole, right? Thanks, Obama. Okay, yeah, and how many natalists, how many breeders are speaking out against this shit on their YouTube radio talk shows? Yeah, not much, right? Okay. Funny how me, as a child-free anti-natalist, am expressing more concern and empathy for the well-being of children than most parents, most fucking breeders. All right, look, when they constantly tell this big lie of, "Oh, I love my kid, I love my kid, don't you dare question how much I love my kid." Okay, when breeders brainwash society and or their kids with that lie, okay, it's exactly that, a lie. It's like they're going by their messiah, Adolf Hitler's handbook. Yes, they basically worship this guy named Adolf Hitler who wrote a book, and in that book, he basically says that one of his main strategies for brainwashing the populace is to do what's called the big lie. In other words, say something that's a lie, that's just obviously not true. So tell something that's just such a blatant, obviously falsehood, all right? But if you just keep repeating over and over again, nonstop, eventually people are going to start believing it, even if it's objectively obviously wrong. And yeah, clearly that's this breeder love thing. Yeah, that's breeder love. Breeder love is the big lie. All right. If these people really love their offspring, even half as much they claim to do, you will not see these sort of disturbing statistics, right? You will not see these sort of disturbing laws that they support, which allow them to abuse their kids worse than anyone else legally. Yes, okay. Is a boss legally allowed to kiss and spank a non-consenting adult employee? Oh, they're not. Well, why? The boss is paying their salary. Well, if the boss may claim to love their employee. All right, so okay, so yeah, breeders, you typically say that it's great for you to kiss and spank your non-consenting small child because you pay for their stuff and you claim to love them. All right, well, can your boss kiss and spank you non-consensually because they claim to love you? Oh, they can't? Why is that? It's because you're a hypocritical douche and you love and protect yourself more than love and protect your children. See, no, all right. This guy, he's just wrong, all right? He's wrong, all right? Professor Jang, you're wrong. You're just wrong, all right? Okay, brainwashing. No, in my opinion, I think that tyrannical government and tyrannical shitty schools, they stem from typical parenting, right? Because what's been legalized for eons, even before all this forced education, yeah, even before the skews became so widespread. Okay, what about, okay, was life really so great in the 1700s, early 1800s when slavery was legalized and women couldn't even vote and, you know, and arranged marriages were commonplace, which is trafficking? Yes, arranged marriages is straight up trafficking. And that's the thing, man. Arranged marriages has been normalized and legalized across many different cultures all over the world for thousands of years. Okay, it's okay. That's brainwashing. Yeah. Oh, yeah. You're supposed to have Stockholm syndrome and believe that these, child raping, just asshole traffickers. Oh, they love you when they rape you and they traffic you and they pimp you out. to some random asshole you may or may not even like, and they force you to sleep with them, force you to breathe with them. Oh, that's love. This is. Oh yes, oh yes. Look, open up a history textbook. Look at the history. All right, of these people. Okay, look at how they've been treating their children for eons. All right. Yeah, typically not so great, right? Typically not so great, right? Breeders are typically, more often than not, a bunch of child raping, hypocritical, sadistic, unfair, just trafficking assholes, all right? They're such douchebags, all right? And they, in my opinion, tyrannical government, shitty schools, they stem from parenting, typical parenting. They stem from typical parenting. Typical parenting is actually worse. Okay, no, typical parenting, if you look in a history textbook, is actually worse than schools. It's actually worse than the current government, if anything, right? Because, okay, yes, school's fucked up. Yes, the government's fucked up and wrong. I'm not saying it's not. It obviously is, but I mean, okay, are teachers in your current public school, are they kissing and spanking, doxing children? Are they trafficking children? Are they legally allowed to do that? No, and they typically don't do that, obviously, you know. So there, okay. Is the government gonna? Does the government traffic people on a regular basis? I mean, again, I mean, there may be some, Jeffrey Epstein, kind of underground, thing going on, sure, but like your government, your average person, the government is not going to be raping and trafficking your average citizen to the same extent that your average parent is raping and was raping and trafficking their average child back before school was so commonplace, right? In various cultures all over the world, without this quote unquote bad government schooling, um, in many of these cultures, human trafficking was practiced commonly and socially accepted, for thousands of years all over the world, even in certain hunter-gatherer societies. Yes. Oh yes, hunter-gatherer societies, go back to the good old days. Yeah, well, guess what? A lot of these societies are evil societies with a bunch of rapists. All right, that's just the way it is. Okay, so no, I mean, I'm not buying this shit he's saying that like, oh well, parents are so great and school messes everything up. No, all right. I mean, I personally think that like parenting is a real tyranny here. All right, man, I gotta silence my phone before these videos. I always forget to silence my phone before I turn the camera on. All right, and you guys hear my gay ringtone blinging during the gay video. Ding dong, bong bong. I'm like, shut up, bitch. I'm trying to make a video. Come on, back to mama. So yeah. So no, I mean, like in my opinion, parents have been terrorizing their own children far worse than government schooling. I mean, yeah, yes, the way parents have been trafficking and terrorizing their own children, not only in the past, but even to this present day, it's actually worse than what happens in schools, all right? Because your average school is not kissing and spanking, noxing the children, all right? Most child abuse and child killings is done by parents of the victim. So you're wrong, Professor Jang, Dr. Jang. What's your last name? Zuquin? I don't know. Whatever. Let's finish up.
If you leave your parents, how do you feel? Insecure. You're anxious.
Oh yes, yeah, yes, and you're so secure and non-anxious when you're around some trafficking, rapist, hypocritical dickhead.
You're afraid. So
oh yes, you're not afraid when you're around some trafficking asshole who's kissing and spanking you, not consenting. Yeah, you're not afraid there, right? You're not afraid to be around some trafficking asshole.
So who do you trust? Your teacher. What if your teacher said?
You know what? There's a lot of bad teachers out there. I personally had quite a few dickhead teachers out there, but I mean, you know what? I don't recall a single teacher kissing me non-consensually. Like that they've never done that, okay? And I'm not aware of any teacher spanking me or any student non-consensually either. All right. So I'm just saying, okay,
Yes, is now correct. What I'm saying is when a parent.
And by the way, actually I've had some teachers that were pretty chill. Like for example, in elementary school, from like first grade through fifth grade, like for 5 fucking years straight, I had this PE teacher who's just like a chill, nice guy, Like I don't recall him doing anything in those 5 fucking years that seemed malevolent and bad. He was just a pretty chill, nice guy. And I enjoyed his class, Yeah. So I didn't think he was a dickhead. He seemed like a pretty cool guy, I mean, I had same as that teacher for 5 years straight, And yeah, I mean, I'm not aware of him trafficking anyone, and he treated his students pretty well, probably better than most students got treated at home by their asshole parents. You know what I mean? I'm just saying, all right. I'm just saying, okay. I'm just saying, all right. I'm just saying.
Is with a child, the child feels secure. And if you're secure,
Oh, yes, you feel so secure and safe when you're around some trafficking, hypocritical asshole. Yeah, that makes so much fucking sense.
you're much more willing to disobey authority.
Oh, yes, you're so willing to disobey authority when you're getting trafficked by some hypocritical asshole, right? No, okay, like blind obedience to asshole hypocritical authority figures, that stems from the way that parents have typically groomed and brainwashed and sadistically harmed their children for thousands of years in various places all over the world, all right? So no, he's just wrong here. He is just objectively wrong, all right? He's just wrong.
You're much willing to ask questions. But if you take the parent away, you can't do that. You must now rely on the teacher who can now brainwash you. Okay?
So that's the clip. He's just wrong. All right. I mean, he's just wrong. Now again, I do not want to give the impression that he's a complete idiot. He makes some good points in general. I mean, in other videos, other parts of his clips, sure. In other cases, he makes some pretty good points. I don't want to I don't want to give too bad of an impression of him just from this one clip. But no, this one point is it's just not a good point, man. He's just wrong. All right. He's wrong. He's wrong. All right. He's just wrong. I mean, I don't know. Did you really not know that most child abuse is done by parents? Did you really not know that? I mean, did you really not? I mean, what about the fact that parents are legally allowed to kiss and spank non-consenting children, and most support that being legal, and and most of them actually do participate in that shit. Thanks, Obama. And if anything, actually, a lot of them actually do worse. Like a lot of parents actually illegally abuse their kids, but the reason why you don't even see in the statistics is because they'll tell their kids, "Oh, well, if you report me, you just go to foster care." So yeah, so that's the thing. We gotta realize that. I mean, the real statistics is probably way worse. If you consider the plethora of unreported child abuse, and again, there's guaranteed to be tons of unreported child abuse. It's just a very common thing for breeders to to do that, right? To use foster care as a way to enable their abuse, right? So, wow, kind, loving parents, huh? They sure do love their kids. So yeah, no, if you think about it, kids are obviously far less likely to report their parents than a random stranger who abused them, right? If a kid gets abused by a random stranger, they're far more likely to report that than their own parents, right? Because if they report their parents and they don't know anyone else who's willing and able to take care of them, then they're kind of foobarred. They get torture and foster care, probably worse, right? So when you consider that very important fact, I would be willing to bet that the real number of who commits most abuse, I'd be willing to bet that's like 95 to 99% of all child abuse is done by the parents of the victim. When you consider the fact that so much abuse, there's just got to be so much abuse that goes unreported because of the reason I explained, because of the foster care reason, right? And so when you take that in consideration, no, I have a hunch. I personally would guess that my educated guess is that the real number, if you include the unreported, child abuse cases, it's probably more like 95 to 99% of all child abuse is done by the parents of the victim. You know what I mean? So no, Jang, you're wrong. You're wrong. Okay. Like, why do you think that being in the presence of these assholes is gonna make kids feel safe and secure? I mean, it's not. And plus, it's just so common for them to just play these unfair, hypocritical targeting games where they let one little asshole kid just be a sadistic terrorist, just traumatizing, mentally and physically assaulting people. Breeders don't do shit about that. They'll tell the victims, toughen up, get over it. But if the victim fights back, do they tell the bully, "Oh, it's fine, get over it. We can't intervene." Oh no, when the victim fights back, oh now they intervene. Oh, when the asshole sadistic child says bad words to the parents themselves, do the parents toughen up? Oh no, they don't. They freak the fuck out and physically assault them, even if they're like 2 years old. Okay, again, that sort of unfair targeting shit is very common. It's normalized. If you're talking about this, if you had this sort of experience with your asshole parents and you're telling people about it, there's a pretty good chance that a lot of them will act like it's just common and normal, no big deal. All right. So yes, okay, shit like that. Okay, no, it is very common and typical and normalized for breeders to just groom and brainwash their kids and just make them more susceptible to tyrannical tyranny. Because yeah, the typical parent is a fucking tyrant, a fucking unfair, hypocritical asshole. All right, that's the way your typical parent is. That is that not a statistical fact? All right, look at the statistics. Look it up. Yeah. All right, Mr. Glasses wearing professor. All right, Mr. Smart Glasses professor. Can you please, look up these statistics? Welcome to, you guessed it, Hussein Obama's America. He just hates America.